Good afternoon. Christmas is rapidly approaching, and whether the world wants to acknowledge that or not is irrelevant. The point is, Christmas is rapidly approaching, and we Christians should make our biggest stand right now. But what does it mean by making our biggest stand? Well, that means that we should be displaying our faith regardless of what other people think. This is not about attacking other people. This is about showing people who we really are. Now, I've heard this a lot. Well, businesses should be forced to say Merry Christmas, and they should be forced to decorate for Christianity purposes, whole 9 yards. I say no. And the reason why is because God Himself gave us free will. And if He's given us free will, why are we standing there saying, well, they have to do this? No, if you don't like a business doing that, you should be setting up your own business and displaying your Christian faith proudly. Don't worry about whether you get customers or not, because God will send you the customers you need to keep your business afloat. And let me tell you something. With some of these businesses, if you set up your own business and you compete directly with these unchristian businesses, you could put those unchristian businesses right out of business. And that's because you have God on your side, and God takes care of all that and not you. Okay, remember, you're just the salespeople, God's the management. God owns the gold, He makes the rules, and if He doesn't want that business to be around, it won't be around. It doesn't matter how big it is. Okay, let's go into the topic, shall we? Myrrh is from the Commiphora plant. Now, some of these plants are trees, some are just plants that come out of the ground. They usually grow in a desert environment. They grow in clay soil. They can store up water during the good season and then utilize that water during a drought. So they can last quite a long time. Okay, they can survive droughts where other plants do not. Okay, now the plant we're referring to specifically is the Commiphora gileadensis. Gileadensis. There's a word. If you can pronounce it better, you're more than welcome. Alright, now in modern times, we have equipment that today we could grow myrrh whenever we want to. I mean, shoot, in the desert out southwest, if you had the right plant, you could grow the myrrh right there. And if you really felt up to it and you really thought you could do the care and whatever of this plant, you could grow it right there in your own house. It'd be tough because it needs water, it needs clay soil, and it needs lots of sunshine. But if you thought you could do it, go for it. But in Bible times, that was not the case. And it only grew in certain areas naturally well. Okay, so the first thing about myrrh was that it was precious, it was rare, it was pleasant, it smelled good, it preserved. Okay, now the Egyptians used this to make their mummies, and the Jewish people used this to prevent corruption in their bodies while they had their funerals. Okay, so a body covered in myrrh wouldn't decompose right off the bat. Myrrh was used as a disinfectant. It was used for healing. Some weaker diseases do not like myrrh, and they'll take off rather quick. Now, which diseases? That's something you're going to have to research for yourself. This stuff still works today, believe it or not. So, some diseases just don't like myrrh. Other diseases are like superbugs, and they'll just eat myrrh all to pieces. But weaker viruses and weaker bacteria just don't like myrrh. So, myrrh was used for healing, and myrrh was used as a beautifier. They claimed it could get rid of wrinkles and that kind of thing. I don't know how effective that is. You'll have to do some research on that for yourself, but maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Okay. The thing is, Christ is precious and rare. There is no other name given unto man to save you from hell than Jesus Christ. It's that simple. The end. Christ is pleasant to be around. Let me tell you something. If you want people to be pleased in being around you, have Christ in your heart, because what people see, they don't just see you anymore. They see the Christ within you, and that causes them to want to be around you. Okay? Well, at least some people. Now, some people will just be driven away. But Christians will see you in a completely different light if you have Christ in your heart. It's that simple. Okay? Christ can preserve you. Let me tell you something. Christ is in charge of the day you die, how you die, so on and so forth. Every detail about your death is in Christ's hands if you're a Christian. And let me tell you something. Nothing's going to remove you from the face of this earth until Christ decides it's time for you to go. And that's very comforting to know. That way you don't have to worry about a lot of things that other people do. And let me tell you something. Christ is also a great healer. He can keep you from a disease, or he can allow a disease to enter your body to draw you closer to him. There is never more of a time that you become closer to Christ than when you have an infection. If you really believe in Jesus Christ and you suddenly develop an infection, you will be drawn to Christ all the more. It's that simple. And Christ can heal you from a disease because he is the great physician. Alright? Now, again, Christ can drive away bad things from you. Okay? There could be a plague all over the country. But if Christ doesn't want you to have that plague, you won't have it. You'll be standing there without the plague while everybody else dies. That's the way it works. Alright? And like I said, nothing is more pleasant to look at than Jesus Christ. And if you have Jesus in your heart, you're one of the most pleasant things to look at. It's that simple. If you're the most butt-ugly person in the world, having Christ in your heart makes you beautiful. It's that simple. Alright. Having said all of that, I can say that when it comes to people of other faiths, it's not that we drive people away. That's not the job of the Christian. We're not here to drive people away. We're here to display our Christianity and show people how Christian we are. But people of other faiths will not necessarily want to hang out with us because their faith demands that they do not have anything to do with our faith. So it's not that we drive them away, they drive themselves away. They don't want to be a part of our lives. And that becomes particularly true. Let me tell you something. Go out and hire people of other faiths. Most likely they won't want to work for you very long because of your faith. But that has nothing to do with you. You're not telling them they can't work for you. You're just saying, this is who I am. If you want to, you can work for me if you want. Oftentimes they won't want to work for you because they know of your faith and they don't want to be a part of it. So if they're not working for you, that's their problem, not yours. And same way with a party. Go ahead and invite them to a Christian party. They probably won't come because of their faith, but that's their problem, not your problem. Remember, Christianity is not about driving people away. It's about they don't want to be a part of your faith. And that's their problem. Okay. Well, having said all of this, I will say to everybody, Merry Christmas. And I look forward to making some videos really, really soon. And they will be up. And hopefully we'll teach some people some stuff that they really need to know. Alright. I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.